Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. Today we're going to keep working on that Salesforce form that's it's got a lot of different stuff going on. So it's in Salesforce, but it's built by a company called TargetX, but it was actually customized by a company called Sidebar, and really it was built with a combination of these Visualforce Apex components and Angular. So we got a lot going on here, but today it's not that complicated because we're basically just doing CSS. So we're going to style this thing with CSS. Just an update on some of the other projects. I have a new issue open in the React Bulletin, the React Resource Center project, because the head of my department uses Safari 9.1 on a Mac, and the forms don't work. So I did a little bit of research on it and some testing, and I put some info in that issue. So if anybody really likes trying to get older browsers to work with things, then have at it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep working on it this week. On our bulletin project, our React bulletin, I've merged in 2 new pull requests. So maybe we can go over those a little bit later on during the question and answer session if we have time. I do have a meeting at 3 p.m. my time, Eastern time, so that gives us an hour and a half till my meeting. I would like to finish up in around an hour if possible to give me time to prep for my meeting. But the meeting's only about 20 feet away from where I'm sitting right now, so it shouldn't take me that long to get there. So if we go over an hour, 15 minutes, that's fine too. But Sebastian and Harshit both submitted amazing pull requests, so hopefully we have time to go over those. Otherwise, you can check it out. Third thing I want to mention before we get started is that Hacktoberfest is almost over. So if you don't know what Hacktoberfest is, let me just put this up briefly. So you can check out hacktoberfest.digitalocean.com. You get a free t-shirt if you sign up and then submit 4 pull requests before October 31st is over. So I think you have today and tomorrow. So check that out if you haven't already, and if you haven't got your 4 in yet, like me, then check out some of the repos that we've been working on. There still are some issues open, and if you find something that I missed that needs work, feel free to submit a pull request for that as well. And what I'd like to ask all of you is to let me know if there's something on one of your projects that you'd like for me to work on. If there's something, let me know either in the live chat or on Twitter or email or whatever social media you like. If you can find my phone number, you can call and leave me a message if you want. But I just need to know the URL of your repository and what issue you want me to fix. So I've been looking for some good issues to use as my 4th and final Hacktoberfest pull request. But I thought earlier today when I was looking through the list, I thought, you know what, I would really much rather work on an issue that you all need some help with. Since you all help me so much with my projects, I thought that would be cool. So at least I want to give you all first dibs on my last PR. And if I don't hear from any of you, then I'll probably work on something tomorrow. I will not be streaming tomorrow. My wife has some testing that she needs to have done for some health issues in the morning, and so I'll be out all morning, and I thought I don't really want to get ready and come into work for a few hours in the afternoon if I could just work from home. Unfortunately, as some of you already know, my internet is not good enough at home to do a decent quality stream. So I'll be off tomorrow, so for those of you that will be celebrating Halloween, Happy Halloween, and I will be back Wednesday, most likely, unless something happens. Alright, so enough with getting all that out of the way. Okay, not bad. I only spent 5 minutes with the intro here, so I've done worse. Alright, so let's check out our Trello board first, just to see what we're working on. So for now, we want to fix those button colors. If you remember in last week's stream, the last stream on Friday, we were working with some weird things that were overriding our styles for our buttons, and we tested out a few ways to make our styles override the other styles that are in there, and couldn't figure it out. And I had said that I was going to try to look around and see if I could find something in Salesforce. I ended up not having time to, because the head of my department called me in to check out her computer because she couldn't submit anything through our resource center that we had launched last month at some point. So I spent the rest of my day here trying to figure out what was wrong, and then researching bugs for Safari 9. I think it's 9.1. So anyway, I was not able to do what I wanted to do, so I'm thinking for this stream we may just have to resort to throwing in some importance. And later on, if I'm digging around in some files and I figure out where I can remove some of the styles that are currently being injected in there somewhere, then we can always remove them later. But if you'll notice, there's two things we need to change, just to, in case you weren't with us last week. This blue this is actually a shadow underneath. So we need our shadow to override that, and then I do not want this button to transform like that and get shorter and wider. Other than that, the button's not looking too bad. So that's what we're going to work on first, and then I think we'll probably switch over here to the side nav, and we'll get this styled a little bit differently than it is now. It's going to fit the university styles, and we'll try to make it match as much as possible some of the other side drawer or side navs that we've been doing for our other sites. Alright, so let's get to it. Let me move my timer somewhere up here. Let me put it up here. That way it's far away as I can get from my face in the corner. I won't cover it up like I normally do. So I was doing a Pomodoro session before on another project, so I'm just gonna restart that now, and let's get over here to, let's find our code. I want to rearrange this order here. There we go. Okay, great. So here's our app template. We were putting our CSS in a separate file, but I've given up on that. It just added an extra step to the flow, so I could always at some point just copy this style tag over into this file if I think it's useful. So let me see. I should have watched the last part of the stream on Friday. I didn't have time. I didn't think about it to remind me of what we were editing. I'm pretty sure it wasn't that. It would have been button styles, which is down here. There we go. Okay, so we're already using important on the color. Let's try, let's see. Alright, let me see what's going on here with this transform first of all. I want to see how they're doing this so that we can properly override it. So which one? This is the button, correct? Interesting. Alright, so we're going to move this all the way over so that we can see our dev tools and our button here. Okay, yeah, so that's what we want. We want this one. Let's see what changes. Oops. Interesting. Alright, so let's see. Trying to see any type of change happening here. We could maybe check, oops, check the computed. Maybe we'll see it better there. Okay, I see nothing there. Yeah, interesting. Okay. There's our width. This is kind of odd. I would kind of expect to see something changing, right? Let's see. That's interesting. Sorry, I just heard something beep on my computer. I wanted to see what message I was getting. Do you ever have too many messenger things open at once and you're not sure which one you're getting a message on? That's how it is for me right now. Alright, actually I haven't even checked the live chat at all yet. Let me check this and see if anyone has any ideas. Let me see. Okay, I don't see anything yet. Also, if you're new, the way I do things is I wait until this 25-minute timer is up, and then I go to the live chat and answer all your questions. So please don't feel bad if I don't see you or answer your question right away. I will answer it on our question and answer breaks, or at the end of the stream. I stop coding and I just go through the live chat and answer questions. Alright, let's find out what this this is like. The I think I mentioned last week, I feel like a detective when I'm searching through some foreign CSS, or this potentially could be some JavaScript stuff going on too, but just searching through DevTools trying to figure out what's going on and how to change it. That's a lot of what ends up happening when I'm editing somebody else's stuff. Target X review. Okay. All right, it's got to be this one. I mean, this has all the other styles. All right, let's see. Text decoration, text size, adjust. That's there we go. Okay, now I'm seeing something different. Well, I don't know how I missed that before, but here we have some hover styles. Padding font size. Are those R styles? And some of them, yeah, those are R styles. let's see. These are the styles that we're trying to override. There's got to be another hover style. These are our styles again. Interesting. So the width isn't even, if you see in DevTools, if you see it kind of grayed out a little bit, then that's not directly getting the width from anything, any styles on this particular component. Transition time. Let's see what's getting that. It's not taking our border radius too. Well, let's do what we know we need to do. We need to get that border radius working, in particular on, well, this isn't even hover style. Let's go ahead and throw it important on that border radius. And let's see what else we need. Guess we can check. Oops. Let's take this hover off for a second just to see what else is being overridden. These are ours. We need the color. Wait. Interesting. Okay. Alright, we could put important on our box shadow. And here's what let's see. Important. Let's see how this looks now. Probably auto logged out of this. Yep, I am. Okay. To log in. I'm logged in on another screen. Nah, it logs me out. It's pretty fast log out for Salesforce. I don't know if that's by default or if the admins for my university set it like that. Let's see. Where are we at? Is this what we were working on? No, it wasn't that. Alright, we're gonna have to go in and find this again. There it is. Alright, so if you haven't seen us working on this the last three streams, this is not an ideal workflow of having to copy and paste things over, but since I'm working in Salesforce, this is what I have to work with right now. I'm not aware of a different way to do it. If there were some other way to integrate this better with my normal workflow, I definitely would do that. And refresh, and what's, oops, forget to sign in here. No, I don't. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let me grab my password from the browser where I'm actually logged into my LastPass. Sorry about this. I should have refreshed everything beforehand and got logged in. There we go. Oh, okay, not bad. We still have that weird thing going on, but at least we've taken care of everything else. Alright, we just have to figure this out. Okay, so let's see. Try turning off padding and hover state. Alright, so we have some ideas here in the live chat about what to do. So let me read through these. Okay, so John Hansen says some of the styles that are giving you problems may stem from higher up the DOM. Okay, yeah, I thought that, but I didn't really check that much higher. So I will double check that. Harshit says check the padding. Okay, cool. I will check that. And John says if the button's inside a flex div, its width will get determined by its alignment flex start. Okay, let me check the padding first, because I think that'll be the easiest thing to do since we're already on this component. So let me go to computed and just see what padding we have. 15 all around. And now let's hover. And let's check out the padding now. Oh yeah, we have a different padding for sure. Okay, cool. Let's switch it up, go 15 all around no matter what, and see if that fixes it. So yep, that looks good. Okay, cool. So we should be able to just set our padding. Oh, I see. I see what was happening. It looks like our padding was being overridden on here, but not when we did a hover. Okay, that makes sense, because when the default CSS probably just put padding on the the button styles and then didn't bother putting it on the hover styles, which you wouldn't normally do that. That makes sense. Okay, so this should fix it. Let's double check it, and then we can move on to the next thing. No. Alright, we still have something else going on. So it's no longer the padding, because you see it's not changing shape. So we've solved one thing. Now is it line height, font size, something like that? Let's see. Whoops. Hover. Alright, let's see. Make sure this is actually triggering it. Yep, there we go. Alright. So let's check our hover. Yeah, let's check our computer, see what we have going on here. Transform. Okay, so we have a text transform, which should be fine because I think we are already doing that. Text size adjust. Where are we getting that from? That's weird. Let's actually look. Does the font look bigger? I think it does. I think it might be the font size. Let me go back here and check our font size. So we have font weight, line height, and font size that could probably all be... Okay, so we have 14 here. And that's not hovered. I think it was 16, right? Size 16, yeah. Alright, so it looks like our font size is going from 14 to 16. I would like it to be 16 no matter what. So let's add an important here. And this is the same thing that was happening with the padding, right? So the default styles have font size 14. So that was overriding our 16. But then its hover state did not have a font size at all. So our 16 was actually working. So this should now work. I thought earlier that the font size looked different, but it was hard to tell with all the other things changing. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Alright, so check that out. We've got a slight hover effect, which I like much better than that what was happening before, where we were having just a huge change. Although, now that I think about it, it may not have had that large change by default. We might have inadvertently caused that hover effect to happen by some of the styles that we had applied earlier before we were even on this page. So I think that was probably the case. Alright, let's get rid of this hover as well while we're here. Let's see. Let's find out. Where is this coming? Oh, so it's a hover. We want to get rid of that color and the text decoration. I think we already have a hover here. Yep. So yeah, let's just put important for these. I want to give my disclaimer on using important. So you've probably heard this before, but just in case, you don't normally want to use important. If you're writing your own CSS for a project from scratch, don't use important, right? Because you have complete control. You can just change how you have things set up, and either through adding classes or changing the order in your CSS, you should be able to make things work just through specificity, and then keep everything cascading. Once you add important, it breaks the cascade. So it doesn't matter, like right now this is just an A, right? It's not specific at all. I mean, I guess we have an A hover in here, right? But somebody could make this super specific and put like HTML body div span A, and it would still be overridden by this because we put important there. So you see how it breaks. Somebody could put inline styles on a specific A tag, and it would still be broken and overridden by this important. So we're only using it in this case because we don't have access or control of much of what's going on in terms of the markup and what's going on in terms of the other styles that are being added to the page in various places. So in this case, we're stuck with important as one of our last options, and that's what it should always be, a last option. Alright, I'm not even going to test that because that's very simple. It should definitely work. Now, let me check how much time we have. Okay, so it's almost up for that session. Let's add in that extra Pomodoro session and mark that as done. And let's go change side nav. Let's just go ahead and our next one we'll do, we'll change the colors, and as a part of that we'll probably do these together. We're going to change the indicator colors as well. Okay, we'll be able to pull this over. Goodness, that got really wide. Wait, how did we get logged out again? It's possible I accidentally hit sign out when I was mousing over it. Okay. Let me grab my password again. Okay. Alright, so we're logged in again, and all we need to see now is this sidebar, and my session's almost up, so I'm just going to go ahead and break now. I'm going to do 5 minutes in the live chat, so I'll be starting at the top and just working my way down, answering as many questions as I can. Okay, Harshit asked if I'd seen PR 54, which by now I've already said it. I have seen it. It's merged now. Harshit says, I saw an inspirational for loop. So if y'all can see this in the live chat, it'll probably make more sense. But for age equals 0, age, when age is greater than, or if age is greater than or equal to life.length, knowledge plus plus. That's cool. I like that. Okay, so John Hansen says, please implement styled components. You will save yourself a lot of grief. You can use an imported theme as a wrapper and still be able to cleanly style components as standalone components. Okay, yeah, and Harshit mentions styled components are specific to React. Yeah, so I mean, obviously we can't use them with Salesforce, but we can start using them on our other React projects. Okay. Harshit says, that button took a long time to debug. Yes, it did. John Hansen says, I usually shed a tear if I am forced to use important. Yeah, it feels a little bit like giving up. Like, there's got to be a better way, but I just don't want to do it, so let's just put important in there. Yeah, I find myself using important a lot less than I used to. Today I've probably used important, so far in the half hour we've been streaming, I've used important more than I've probably used it in the last month or two. So it depends on the project though. If it's something like this where I have to deal with already existing code, I tend to use it a lot more. All right. All right, I think actually there's not that much in the live chat, so I think I've gotten to the bottom of it. So that's cool. So I shouldn't go over my time here. Let's see, Harshit says, so you checked nxtshare.co.in. Harshit, was that the one that you built, the chat thing? Yeah, okay. Cool. Yeah, I definitely checked that out. That is really cool. So if you haven't already checked it out, Harshit built this really cool chat site, and it's nxtshare.co.in. So yeah, it was really cool. I checked that out last Friday. Yeah, I was really impressed by that. All right. Well, since I'm out of stuff on the live chat, I may as well start the next session. So yeah, let's get started on this. So if you ask anything after this point, I will get to it after this next session. This will be our last code session, and then we'll just do all question and answer. Anna got a question in there right at the end. It says, how's the weather today? It's a little bit cold and rainy where I'm at. It's about 40 degrees. It was in the upper 30s this morning, but I think it's in the mid 40s now, and it's rainy. So it's appropriate weather for this time of year. All right. I actually don't mind that 40s or 50s in rain. I think it's kind of nice. I'm not sure why, but I've always liked it when it's dark outside and about 50 degrees and slightly raining. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite, but it's pretty close to it. Okay. I'm just playing around a little bit just to think about what colors I want here. I mean, we'll probably end up going with a lot of white like we normally do. Now I'm thinking about how far I want to take this now. Let's see. First we'll stick with the colors, but just to let you know what I'm thinking right now, I'm wondering, like, how far could we change this to look like what we normally do? I do kind of like that it has this here. That's not bad. That's a nice indicator, so I don't want to change that, but whenever it is actually open, I think it might be nicer if it did look closer to what we normally do. Well, we'll see. Once we get in here and see some of the markup, it'll be pretty obvious how difficult it would be to try to make this look exactly like our other side navs, or as close as possible. Oops. And actually, we forgot to change this color too. Was that on another one? Change the icon colors. That's another to do. So wondered why I didn't do that one. All right, so let's change the background color first, and we'll have to change the font color as well because we won't be able to read anything. So let's go up till we get the container div where the color is applied. There we go. Yep, that's where the color's applied, so let's switch that up. Background, color. Alright, let's go with white, and let's see. I'm going to make this, whoops, black. I'm going to make that, I'm going to have to go down lower. Okay, well at first we can at least put this background color on, let's grab Target X Application Sidebar. Did this really change when not expanded? Yeah, we want to put it on that base style so it applies to both forms of the sidebar. Okay, so sidebar. Let's put this below the nav bar and put it right in here. And sidebar. And sidebar. Okay. And then let's see where the colors are being applied. Let's see. Color. That's weird. Let me try that again. Oh, okay, inherit. Alright. Didn't see that the first time. Okay. So we're gonna have to do an H1, and then let's go down to, we have L's and an A. Okay. H2, why would you have an H2 inside of an A tag, inside of an LI? Anyway, I mean, I can kind of see what they're doing here, but really, wouldn't it be better to just leave the headers as this and not have them repeated as H tags? I gotta check this now, because if these aren't H tags, then I'm gonna be upset. Okay, at least they are H tags. Alright. Okay, so I have enough to do this. Where are we at? Sidebar. Okay, so let's go Target X Application Sidebar. Whoops. And we want to get the H1s, and then Target Sidebar H2s, and the color. I need to grab our dark color from somewhere else. I don't see it. Let's just make it. I never want to type out the RGBA colors by myself. I always want to do it like this. I don't know why. It probably would have been faster in that case to just type it out myself. Alright, now let's put this here. And I do want to see what this looks like before we go on. Okay, well, some of what we did worked and some did not. So we may just have to put important on that and move on. Let's check it out for a second. Background color. Yep. Yeah, same reason it was being overridden with our button styles. So, there. Okay, we actually need to change the font as well. So it's good to know. Alright, so let's add important here. And let's go up and grab our font. And actually, let's try to do important up here. I don't think there's anywhere where we wouldn't want to use this font. So, John Hanson, I just saw your comment. It had the little devil emoji with important. Oh no. There we go. Alright. Yay, it worked. Okay. Oh, well, not for everything. So our H1, it did not work. Wait a second. Display none. Why do we have... Oh, this is weird. Our button color is now not working. Alright, well, let's move this button color back to testing, and we'll look at that in a little bit. But right now, this is what we're working on. So I know H1. Did we not have text there? Am I looking at the wrong element? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. I am. Sorry about that. I was looking at the wrong place. Okay, and this is not an H1, it's a span. So let's change this. First of all, let's make sure they're not setting the color. They are. Okay, but they're setting it on this, so we should be fine. Let's put that here. And these are spans. Yeah, let's go ahead and just do both of these now. Actually, we're not gonna want to do them together. We want them to be different colors, but I'll just copy them. Copy the classes over. Where we at? Okay. I didn't copy this. Okay. Let's try this again. Copy. Did I get the right stuff? Nav header. Yeah. And let's see. Let's try to nest this. And see if we can override things through nesting. Well, it's not really nesting. I'm thinking in SAS terms, like normally I would nest this, so I guess that's not really what you would say in CSS. Alright, so for this, oops, we're going to go with that green color. At Franciscan University green, and for this one we'll use this same color that we have up here, which actually if we're going to do that we should just do it here. Okay. Really? We're gonna have to use important. Ah, that's why. Background color. Target specification. Hamburger menu now. Hamburger menu bar. Background color. That's why. And then for this, let's just put important here. I'm not sure how many more videos we'll have on this. I wanted to do enough videos to be able to make a playlist out of this that would be reasonable. So we're at 4 videos for this. This may be the last one. I may do one more. I don't really want to spend a ton of time. I haven't really been getting a lot of views for this kind of thing, so I just don't think there's that many people that are interested in this kind of stuff. I think there's more interest in the React stuff that we've been doing, so I'd like to switch back. I didn't really want to just stop right in the middle of it. I'd like to get it to some point of completion before we stop. Let's see. Okay. Not bad. I mean, color-wise, it's we can at least see everything now. I really don't know about this change here. I mean, I don't mind this crossing to make it an X, but I don't really like this size change. So I think I want to get rid of that. So let me add that as another to do, because that falls outside of our scope of changing colors. Is it a hover effect as in AFFECT or a hover effect like EFFECT? I can never remember. I always ask my wife because she's an English teacher, and she actually teaches English at the college that I work at, and she always knows. Remove hover effect from menu icon. Okay. And we've changed the colors for the side nav. I guess the one thing, we could change the colors of these dividers. Do we want, actually let me see this. Do we even want to have those dividers there anymore? Is that necessary? We don't normally do dividers between every menu item, do we? Like, let's check. What are we doing here? No, we don't. We have them between different, you know, categories of, not in this sense, but like different sections of our menu. But this isn't necessarily a different section. These all play the same role. You know, for now, I'm not going to do anything with them. What I probably would add is, you know, this hover behind. Let's do that. Let's add a hover behind. Now this is where it might get a little weird. Are we even going to be able to do that same hover? Because, you know, where's this extend? Oh, actually, we need a shadow on this as well. This looks really weird. So we need a shadow, and we could definitely shorten this. There's no reason that it has to be that long. So let's add these. And we're going to add okay. Let me I want to change this color. There we go. I like that better. And yeah, I mean, we do have shadows on here, correct? No, we don't. No, we don't have a shadow. Let's find one where we bring that out. So okay. All right, so maybe we don't have a shadow normally, but it just grays everything out. So we have this overlay. But in this case, we don't really want the overlay, right? Because you can, oh no, it does automatically close. Okay, well then we probably should add an overlay. Here's what we'll do. We'll either hover or overlay. I don't want to do the border because you can see we really only do the border if we have it fixed. Let's shrink this up though and see what we actually have going on. Yeah, we don't have the border. Or at least it's not obvious that there is a border there. Yeah, so let's stick with that. And so that's what we'll do. So we'll either do an overlay or a shadow. Let's see. Actually, you know what? We're going to add a shadow no matter what. Because when it's... No. I didn't want to do that. hey, we got back to that screen. I don't know if you remember, but I think of the first day we worked on this, we got to this screen and it looked terrible, and I couldn't figure out how to get back to it. Okay, that's cool. Well, now we know how to get back to it. We just have to hit this button. Okay. So we'll need something here. Maybe here, this would be a good place to have a border. I may have to think about this. So we're gonna maybe add the shadow. Here, I'll just add some notes. Maybe an overlay. And open. Border when closed. Okay. Alright, so I have to mess around with a couple of these options that we have here. And that's about it for this. So let's see. Colors. Yeah, so we've changed the colors. So I think we're safe to mark that off. We don't really need to do anything else with colors for the side nav. And yep. Alright. Not bad. So we only got 2 to-dos done, but we came in, well, with the exception of this one where it took twice as long as we thought. The colors were right on target in terms of time, so not bad. I may have to just end up by default putting important on everything, because it seems like no matter how much I try to not have to use important, I have to use it on almost every element. So our new strategy might just be use important. Oh man, and I just got a message on Slack that there is food in the kitchen, free food. So I definitely have to end this before my meeting so that I can stop in and get free food. I have one of my coworkers always lets me know if there's free food. So I joke with her and say that's actually in her job description that she has to do that. But I appreciate it. She knows how much I enjoy free food. That's kind of pretty much the one benefit I can see to coming into work instead of working from home that I would miss is getting the free food that is frequently here at work. Okay, let me scroll up, and now at this point I'm going to do question and answer. So if you have any questions, please put them in the live chat now. Even if you don't have a question, appreciate it if you'd stick around and help answer some of the questions, because I certainly don't have all the answers to everything, and I appreciate having different opinions on things as well. But if you got to take off, thanks for watching. I should be back on Wednesday. I will not be back tomorrow, but if you need to send me a message or something on social media or whatever, I'll be online. I'll just be working from home. Okay, so let's... I'm trying to find where I left off at. Okay. Brian says, "Go Bucks." Yeah. Ooh, okay. Harshit says, "Will you be running post CSS auto prefixer at the end of your CSS?" That's a great idea. I really like to run that, but normally I have it set up to run automatically, and in this case we don't have any type of build tools running, so I probably would have forgot about that if you hadn't mentioned it, so thank you. So let's run auto prefixer. Awesome. Thank you, Harshit. That is a wonderful idea. Okay, John says, I think most builds include post CSS though. When you do DevTools in the browser, much of what is added gets crossed out anyhow. Yeah. Let's see. Inna says, what's the hardest you've ever worked? I think maybe I'll give two answers for that. One would be code related and one non-code related. So I worked, well actually, some of you all may remember when it was right around the time to launch the Catechetical Institute website, which was Project 1 that we worked on. I worked some crazy hours for at least the last 2 weeks of that project. I worked almost double my normal amount of hours. So we're talking like 70 to 80 hours a week. That was pretty crazy. I think I worked for like 14 hours one day. That was wild. I think I streamed for 5 hours one day. I think I streamed and then took a break and then streamed again. So that was pretty crazy. I have done, I've done like, and where I've worked pretty much all day and then as late as I could stay up at night, went to sleep for a couple hours, woke up again and started working again on a project. So in terms of code, that's the hardest. Just trying to put out as much code as I possibly can and stay up as late as I can. But in terms of in general, what's the hardest I've ever worked? I don't know. I've had some jobs that were tough. Physically, I used to work for a city in West Virginia called Weirton. So I worked for the city of Weirton, which that's the city I grew up in, and I did that for about 6 years. But it was seasonal, so they didn't have enough for me to do during the winter time usually. But that job was a lot of like 8 hours a day, pushing a lawnmower, doing maintenance work, generally like lifting things, working on whatever needed fixed, whatever needed cleaned. So like that was somewhat physically demanding. It was like you're just on your feet every day. It doesn't matter how hot it is, how cold it is, like you're working. So, but I was young. I mean, this was when I was a teenager, and so it wasn't that bad then. I think back to it now, I think, man, I'd be sore if I tried to do that now. That was tough. And I tell you what, I used to be an assistant manager at a Burger King restaurant. It's a fast food restaurant. That was really tough because I would work these shifts, and sometimes I'd work 10 hours straight, and we'd be so busy that I just couldn't stop. Like, I literally could not take a minute break because we always had people in there. And we were always understaffed, so I couldn't just manage. It was like you're making sandwiches, you get a headset on, you're taking orders, you're running the cash register, all at the same time that you're trying to make sure everybody else was doing their job. That was wild. That was just like exhausting. And you work a shift like that and close up, and like on the weekend you'd close up at 2 a.m. During the week you'd close up at midnight. And then if you work the next shift shift started at 4 a.m. So you couldn't get a full amount of sleep. So anyway, I'm sure y'all don't care about how to manage a fast food restaurant, but that was really wild. Just in terms of like working that much without a break. All right. Let's see. Oh, cool. John Hansen said time for dictionary.com to see how that affects things. Okay, John says the hover behind sounds good. So we were talking about doing a hover behind these items. I'd also add a shadow to help define. It's needed for the side menu. Yeah, it's definitely needed now that it's the same color. I mean, I could see why they didn't have it before. It wasn't exactly necessary. The shadow could just show when the side nav is out. Yeah, that's true. I mean, really, I guess when you think about, like, in terms of material design, of everything's on like a different level, the side nav is actually on a higher level. Unless I'm remembering this wrong, the side nav is on a higher level than the paper, like the, you know, the normal level. So it'd be like, you know, Z0, right? If we're thinking Z index. So it would make sense that there would be a shadow no matter what, since we have the partially open state and the fully open state. We don't really have a closed state. So there should be a shadow. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we have this sub. I guess we can keep this sub header here. I'm not a huge fan, because you all know I don't really like thick headers, and this makes it really thick. But yeah, I mean, this side nav realistically should probably be at the same level. I'm gonna have to double check the material design docs to make sure that the app bar, which is what this is called in the docs, and the side drawer, I think it's called side drawer, are supposed to be at the same level of it, the Z index level. So I shouldn't say Z index. I don't want you to get confused with CSS Z index. I mean the Z height level. So if this was X, Y, Z coordinates, right? We have our X and Y coordinate. What is it? Is it X this way? Yeah, I think X, Y. Trying to remember back to high school math class. And then your Z coordinate would be like depth, right? Or height, however you want to think about it. So that's what I'm talking about. Oh, cool. Anna says, thanks for the stream. You're welcome. Thank you so much for watching and for asking questions in the live chat. I appreciate it. Let's see. All right, John Hansen says, React equals mystery. I figured out this array.find and change state to the array, but to use the new array as a param in the functional component and then using this state.state.array.key value is confusing. That sounds confusing reading it. I'd probably I'd have to think about that or see the code to understand, really understand that. There are some weird, confusing things about React. I really like React, but I've definitely been confused at times and thought, what? Why isn't this working? So usually whenever it finally works, it makes sense why it works and why it didn't work the other way, but getting to that point of realizing what the right way to do it is can be a challenge sometimes. Luckily I have you all to let me know, and it usually doesn't take that long when you're watching to let me know what the right way is. But it can definitely take a while sometimes. Let's see. Rohini says hello from India. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching from India. I know it's late. What is it? 12:45, right, in the morning right now, or at night, however you want to think about it. John Hansen says it works and it is logical to React, but wow, yeah. Yeah, that's what does the saying go? I've seen this on different social media, but it's something like React makes complicated things simple and simple things complicated. Something like that. Yeah, but I would agree with that statement, right? There are some things that I used to do with jQuery, you know, back a year ago when I used to be into jQuery. I don't want to make it sound like it's been that long time, but you do something with jQuery, it'd be the simplest thing in the world, just so easy. And then with React, it's like, how can I do this exact same thing? And it seems so much more complex. But some things are really easy with React, and I remember them being just super difficult with jQuery, and I just had all this spaghetti code when I tried to do it. So for me, at least, the transition from jQuery based stuff to React stuff has had more benefits than drawbacks. It definitely took me longer to build the same functionality when I first started, but I think now I'm at the level where I'm faster with React. Not only that, but everything's more reliable with React, and I think it's a heck of a lot easier to for other people to read the code and contribute to it. I still like dread going back to some of my old applications that I built with jQuery. So like we've redone it, like the resource center that we redid in React. I'm so glad that I never have to go back to the original and look at it again. I didn't delete the code. It's still on GitHub as a private repository. I'll probably never make it public. But anyway, and then now the bulletin that we're working on, when that finally launches, then I won't have to look back at the other code, and the jQuery version will also remain a private repo. Actually, I don't really care if you all would look at that if you really wanted to. I'd make it public, but the only thing I'm worried about is making sure I don't have any keys or anything that I shouldn't have in there, because since it was a private repo, I never bothered removing any keys, so I'd have to double check on that. Okay. John says, it sounds, LOL, sounds like my thoughts on jQuery. Yes, it's a different hat one has to wear, even from JavaScript. Yeah, for sure. Alright, John says, love to see it. Alright, cool. I'll have to, yeah, I'll see about making it public. I'm pretty sure the Resource Center one I can make public. I think the only like keys that I had was the I was storing data in Google Sheets, so I had like the URL to store things in a Google Sheet, but I'm no longer using those sheets, so I can just shut it off so that you can't use that anymore, and that should be fine. The bulletin one, we'll see. Yeah, I may have to do some things before I can make the bulletin one public. It may be after I launch the newer version of it, the React version, but I'm pretty sure I could also make that public as well. So you can see it. It might, I'll have to double check everything, but I'm pretty sure I will be able to make them public. Alright, almost to the bottom of the live chat here. Blake says, I'm working on like 3 projects. What do I do? I want to do them all at the same time. Well, I'm kind of in the same situation right now. So I have this project. We're still working on the bulletin, and I'm trying to sort out some bugs on the Resource Center. I just finished up that React Native project for the Udacity Nano degree, which I'm still going to make that video for the Nano degree. I have not forgotten about that. So yeah, so anyway, when I have lots of projects to do, I make sure that I take notes so I don't get confused, and I do Trello boards, and I make sure I write down notes on the cards so I can jump back and forth. I have a lot more windows open on my computer when it's like that, but it's definitely doable. It also helps if the projects are somewhat related. Then it's nice because you can use what you learn on one project on the other project. It's kind of like when I was in college, it was nice when I took classes that overlapped in content, so that you've already learned it in one class, and then maybe a few weeks later you're tested on it in another class, and so it's like you don't really have to spend as much work because you took the classes at the same time. You're learning the same material, and it cuts down on the amount of time you have to study. Projects are the same. if you can do similar projects at the same time, you can just recycle code from one project to another and complete both of the projects faster than it would take you if you only did one. So it can work. It can definitely be more beneficial to work on multiple things at once. It just depends on what projects they are. Oh, cool. So Rohini says, visiting this channel after 3 months. Dude, super cool series of tutorials from freeCodeCamp. Excellent job, guys. Mission target, front end, JavaScript, and design. Jesse will watch all your tutorials. Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. I'm glad you like it. We've come a long way in the last 3 months. I think I certainly have come a long way with all of your help in my understanding of React, and I think maybe like into my skills as a live streamer. I don't know. You all let me know, but I feel like I'm able to better balance questions and code now. For a while there, I would get off track way too easily, and I feel sorry for everybody that was watching those earlier streams. But I think we got a decent system now, and it seems to be working. I get less complaints that I talk too much now. I used to get comments on the videos and in the live chat like, "Stop talking, more code," which I always thought was funny, and I agreed with. Okay, and after saying that, it really is time for me to stop talking because I have 6 minutes before my meeting starts. So let me hurry up and see the last few things that were in here. Let's see. Jesse, please upload previous tutorials on GitHub. I'm trying to think. I think everything that we've done in the videos is on GitHub. So some of the stuff that I'll upload is stuff that I've done, but I haven't done videos on it. So you can certainly check it out and ask me questions about it if you want. But some of my earlier stuff will be better examples of what not to do than what to do. Because we've since, learned better ways to do it, or at least I've learned better ways to do it. But I still will put them up there as well. I'm not embarrassed by it because it's my old work. Everybody has their old work that they can improve on. So, let's see. All right. So, thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back, like I said, Wednesday, not tomorrow. So have a happy Halloween tomorrow. And also, let me know if anybody has any issues on GitHub or wants me to submit a pull request. Let me know because I need to submit one before the end of the day tomorrow. So I'd love to help one of you all out instead of just finding some random repo somewhere. So send me a message somewhere on Twitter or something, and I'm happy to help. All right, cool. All right, thanks, John. John says, take care. Hope all goes well tomorrow. Thank you. I do too. Hopefully, if any of you are the praying type, please pray for my wife. She's having a lot of health issues, and we're trying to figure out what's wrong. So hopefully we'll have some answers tomorrow. Here's my button to stop the stream. Okay, have a great day. I'll be back on Wednesday.